I am Johnny Massacre and welcome to my world. May your stay here be interesting. Tonight, my review of the Superman 2025 movie. Who is with me? Give me a hell yeah! Okay, so I just went and watched this film in Tokyo and I'm going to give you my review and reaction to this. So the plot of this movie is that metahumans came to Earth 300 years ago. And Superman came to Earth 30 years ago, and 3 hours ago, Superman lost his first battle. So the movie starts off, Superman is completely screwed in the snow. He's just taken a beat down from an unknown foe. So Lex Luthor's in this, who's the antagonist, and he's running your stereotypical Eva mega corporation. And he has a private paramilitary force that he uses to cause havoc in the city. I don't know how he gets away with this and how the authorities don't shut him down, but we just go with it. He lives in a giant skyscraper, essentially, the stereotypical big skyscraper overlooking the city with big glass windows. Superman has stopped a war between a fictional country called Baravia, sounds like some Eastern European rave mecca, and Janpal, which is some metaphor for, as far as I can see, Palestine and Ukraine combined. It's run by a guy who looks a bit like the Penguin in the second Batman Tim Burton movie. And I think the ruler of Baravia is the writer's conglomeration of Benjamin Netanyahu and Vladimir Putin. So just for the sake of this review, let's call the evil president of colonial Baravia Putin-Yahu. So that guy's out there. All of this is happening against the backdrop of this war that Superman prevented. The storyline or lack thereof, is rather jarring in this movie. So John Parr is a kind of salt of the earth, like Native American, like Palestine type place. And that's it. There actually is no story in this film. After an hour, Superman's dog gets kidnapped. That's the first plot that emerges, that Superman has to rescue his dog. That's after an hour. The problem is, after about an hour and 20 minutes, then Superman gets trapped, and then they have to rescue Superman, who's gone to rescue his dog. That becomes the second plot, is rescue Superman, but it's not really a plot. So the plot is just rescue the dog. But then when the dog's rescued, we've still got another 20 minutes of the movie, and there's still no plot. The only plot there is really emerges in the last 20 minutes, which is there's a massive crack appearing in the earth, and we have to sew up the crack. That appears at the end of the movie. So I don't actually know what the story is of this film, but there you go. So this movie, Superman, is a cynical world-building movie. It is DC trying to make the equivalent of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. They tried to do this with Batty Boy Batman, bruv, and it basically didn't work. And they're trying to do it with Superman now. This movie is directed by James Gunn, who directed Guardians of the Galaxy. So all this movie is a reskinned Guardians of the Galaxy trying to leverage the Superman brand. It's kind of like when Bungie lost their Halo license and then they started making Destiny, and the product of Bungie became much worse. This is like Guardians of the Galaxy, but kind of worse, and cheapening Superman. It's shameless world building. That is obviously the main focus of this movie. So there's a lot of CGI in this film, a lot of CGI. At some points, I refused to look directly at the screen because it was just so cringe. I'm supposed to sit there like some low IQ idiot going, wow, look at the graphics. The graphics are, honest to God, they really are not very good in this film. They really are not very good. But we will get there. We will get there. So Superman's down in the ice and Superman is hurt, bruv. Right off the bat, the movie is very, very slapstick and silly. It has that really annoying American Marvel humor that's just not funny. It really isn't. So when Superman's down in the ice, there's Super Dog who comes over, and Super Dog is prodding on Batman, but Super Dog's really strong, Superman, but Super Dog is really strong, and he's kind of hurting Superman when Superman's down. Oh, so funny, the dog's hurting Superman because he's really, really strong. Stop it, dog, stop it. This horrible Marvel-style humor occurs right off the bat. And this goes all the way through the movie. So, for example, there's a bit when they're revealing this kind of spaceship that they're going to use to travel to save Superman. And it's supposed to be a dramatic reveal, and it's a very fine spaceship. But the garage door is opening really slowly, so they make a joke and say, wow, you've got this amazing spaceship, but does the garage door have to open that slowly, man? Oh, God, it's so cringe. Super cringe. With the climactic battle in this movie, Superman works his ass off, and then another hero comes along later after Superman's done all the hard work and says something, I'm paraphrasing, like, oh, hurry up, man, you need to do some work. And Superman says, oh, man, I've been doing like loads of work down here, dude. Something like that. Super cringe humor. At the end of the movie, there's a jump scare where the dog comes out, Super Dog, and is mauling the antagonist, Lex Luthor, and throwing him around the room. Like silly slapstick humor. There's so much of that in this film. The best Supermans were the original Supermans with Christopher Reeve, and he was kind of somber and brooding when he turned into Superman, and less was more, and it was a very physical performance, and he could say much more than they say in this film with all the silly cheesy jokes and exposition. So the Marvel style jokes run all the way throughout this movie. So Superman goes back to his base, the dog takes him to his base to fix him. How do they fix Superman? They shine, I'm not joking, right? They shine the sun on Superman to fix him with a giant magnifying glass. So basically all you have to do, it's like the old Game Boy, right? Those of you old enough to remember the first ever handheld console, the Nintendo Game Boy. Do you remember the peripheral you used to attach on the back, and it shines a light on the screen so you can see it? That's all Superman needs to be invincible. He needs this kind of, and he's strong enough to harness something like this. He needs a big magnifying glass over his head at all times to keep him invincible. So Superman gets fixed. He's in his base, and he's basically all right. So then we get an introduction to the bad guys. We get an introduction to Lex Luthor, and he's got this kind of henchwoman who is a transformer. Like, it's, I mean, is it a woman? Is it a man? It's your typical, it looks like the kind of character that was casted by Sweet Baby Inc. You remember in Alan Wake 2, the video game, they put forced diversity in there, and whenever they put like a diverse person in, they make them as ugly as possible, and it's kind of a woman, but it's super masculine or androgynous. So they put like Miss Flat Booty, ultra diverse transformer, bad guy, bad woman, Lex Luthor, henchwoman in it, who just looks ridiculous at all times. I mean, she's minging, she's ugly, but that's okay. There have been classic movies with kind of ugly characters who you really like, but it's your typical Marxist diversity hire. Looks like the kind of unattractive woman in Alan Wake 2, basically. So she's in it. She's so small, and she's so OP. She's so OP. She's essentially an antagonist Mary Sue. She just waltzes around with her little flat butt cheeks, looking super diminutive, kicking everyone's ass. So she followed Superman surreptitiously back to his ice base, bruv. So she leads Lex Luthor to the ice base, and they basically trash the ice base. And Transformer, she's so fucking OP. She's basically a T-1000. So Lex Luthor has put these things in her bloodstream. It allows her to morph into anything, man. So like no limitations. The writers can just create whatever weird shit comes into their mind when they're buzzing off their chai pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks, bruv. So she's got all these ridiculous powers. She can make buzzsaws appear on her hands. So yeah, okay, stole that from Roger Rabbit. And you remember the Terminator movie where they tried to make a super T-1000 and it could do moving parts and guns and all kinds of things, and it was just stupid because, like I said before, there's no limitation, so nothing is grounded in reality, nothing is believable, and it's just so over the top. That's what she is. They did that again. So the T-1000 is back in this movie, like the super T-1000 in the form of Transformer Girl, just kicking everyone's ass without breaking a sweat. Super annoying character. in there for forced diversity. Look, there was always female antagonists in the Superman movies, but this one is just, it's a Sweet Baby Ink pick is what I'm saying, and it's so goddamn obvious. So Superman's got his ass kicked earlier in the movie by this big clonking robot thing, and it's Ultraman, so it's Superman's nemesis. It's this dude that Lex Luthor cloned. So Lex Luthor is literally a god in this film. He's creating these humans that can turn into T-1000s. Like, he can turn a 5'1" diminutive transformer into a T-1000, and he can just like copy Superman willy-nilly. How he hasn't taken over the city by now, I do not know. Like, why he needs to have this front of Luthor Court and this skyscraper is beyond me. Like, just take over the city, bro. Just make a bunch of those people. So he's got Ultraman and he's got Transformer on his side, essentially. And play by play from within his big skyscraper, Lex Luthor says these letter and number combinations to instruct the Superman clone, the big clonking robot guy who wears the robot armor, to beat up Superman, which is insane. So Too Long Didn't Read, the clonking robot Ultraman guy, he's stupid. And at the end of the movie, Lex Luthor, like all bad guys do, explains his plan to Superman when Superman keeps getting his ass kicked by a big clonking robot Ultraman. And at that point, he's not a clonking robot. He doesn't have the armor. But still, Lex Luthor says that the Ultraman is stupid. He has the same DNA as Superman, and he's stronger than Superman, but he's stupid. So the only reason that Ultraman is kicking Superman's ass is because Lex Luthor is literally vocalizing to Ultraman what to do. So he goes A1, B12, like C1 is a punch. He's like C1, 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 and the guy's like punching. Can you imagine trying to play a FromSoft video game without a pad and going XX, left, up, triangle, R2? You would fail. So that is the logic in this film. Superman's shadow, he's fighting his shadow, and it's called Ultraman. And Ultraman's stronger than Superman, but he's stupid. But he's got the super brains of Lex Luthor controlling him by vocalizing button presses from in a skyscraper. That's the kind of shit that's going on in this movie. Oh my god. And also, Lex Luthor looks like a bald Tom Cruise. He looks like a younger Tom Cruise. So we got discount Tom Cruise, we got Transformer, and we've got a big clonking robot Ultraman so far. And Superman, he comes back to life because of the giant magnifying glass. And then he gets clonked again by Ultraman in the robot suit. He gets clonked a second time, unless it's a flashback. But I think he gets clonked a second time. I don't know how he doesn't get killed or survives the second time, but that basically happens. And during the fight, we start getting some of the woke stuff in this movie. Now, I know you all want to know. If you've watched this far, like, is the movie woke? It is. It has like quite a lot of woke elements, but it's not as bad as some of the other woke movies. They purposefully leave it ambiguous because whenever this was being made, it was obviously it was around the time when wokeness was getting a lot of flack and Disney's share value was tanking and stuff. But it still was before the recent times where wokeness is becoming so toxic that you really got to try to remove it now from your intellectual property. I freaking hope. So it has a lot of wokeness in, but they don't explicitly vocalize it. And that's proved by the fact at the end of the movie, they say, this is something conservatives and liberals can all agree on. And you know that's some woke Hollywood liberal who's gritting his teeth saying, I fucking hate Republicans, but I'm going to try to pretend that we're in it together so we can sell this movie and not tank our sales. So there is wokeness in it. And it starts to come here. So when Superman's fighting clonking robot, he just gets thrown into the floor. And then there's like diverse guy in New York City, and he comes along and he literally says, look, I'm the best falafel salesman in all of New York. And they show his ID card and shit. So he's basically an immigrant, and the immigrant like helps up Superman, and he shows him what is going on, and it says, look, I'm the falafel salesman. And then so that guy's in it, a bit of wokeness coming in there, and everything is so freaking diverse. So Lex Luthor's team, it's just like 50-50 white, black, female, like everything. It's the Lex Luthor. I mean, he is a bad guy, he's like a modern day Stalin. Like he's made the utopia. Everyone's on the same level. It's like every different kind of person. Totally the kind of people you'd have in a control room, basically playing a FromSoft video game to kill Superman. Like those type of people. Like, I'm sure that's the kind of job women would gravitate towards, wouldn't you? There's loads of diversity in New York City. There's like tons of diversity. There's like, it's very, very diverse film. So that's quite woke in that respect. But the thing is, like, it's not a good advert for diversity because the DEI hires in Lex Luthor's Skyscraper constantly fuck up. They just basically can't get the better of Superman. So it's actually not the advertisement for DEI. Maybe the creators thought it was. So Superman now gets framed. So from within his ice base, Transformer has given discount Tom Cruise some video footage of Superman's parents where some of it was cut off, and I don't know, he doctors it or like extends it or reveals something, and the Superman's suddenly a bad guy. Now, this is revealed during another fight with this big alien thing. So I hate this about James Gunn films. He'll put in these fights with these kind of cute, huge monsters with big eyes and tentacles and things, and it's just for the purposes of CGI. And so that's going on for some reason. It's just like Guardians of the Galaxy. You know how there's like little cute fluffy things in those films, and there was like a little Groot and shit. Now there's like a little tentacle monster, and the bad guy says, don't worry, it will grow. And then it grows into this huge tentacle monster. There's for no reason at all other than we need to fill this part with CGI. We have this budget. We've laundered some of the money and spent it on nice cars. So we have to put this shit in here, bruv, said the writers. Okay, big fuck it, like cute, annoying thing from James Gunn. Make it into a big thing. That Superman's just fighting the shit for no fucking reason at all. Absolutely no reason about that. And during that fight, you're introduced to the world building. There's a new team which is comprised of Green Lantern and Hawk Girl and this other dude. But Superman, they basically win. And at the end, Superman gets framed. So Lex Luthor releases this information that Superman's mission from his parents was actually to basically dominate society. And within an instant, all of the populace know about this news, and everybody hates Superman instantly. People on the street, people on the second floor, everyone suddenly hates Superman. And they're trying to make it like Luthor is this propaganda master, and they're trying to make it out like it's basically Fox News, right? And like how Fox controls the narrative. But actually, it's the perfect metaphor for the left-wing mainstream media. CNN, MSNBC, BBC. Like as soon as they say some nonsense and a lie, everyone immediately knows it and everyone immediately follows it. So they're trying to make it like it's this kind of, I think it's like a Republican thing, like Republican propaganda. And everyone falls for it. But actually, it's like the perfect metaphor for leftist propaganda. Anyways, they frame Superman. And this big, giant, annoying octopus thing has like bit in the dust. A complete waste of time. The CGI from the beginning looked terrible. So when Superman's saved at the beginning by the dog, he gets given to his robots with this Art Deco S. It looks like it was made by a Fortnite focus group or something, like to appeal to Gen Z with a new Superman logo. Kind of like what they did with Street Fighter 6, right? Clip art quality at best. And yeah, so like the robot CGI, it looks like they left the ray tracing off. You know, in the PlayStation game, you got the option for the ray tracing and it makes the shadows and depth look better. It's like they forgot to leave the ray tracing on. Like how the fuck in this day and age, when you've got AI, like video generation, you can make something look real as fuck. Do we still have this shitty, like naughty's Godzilla CGI? It's super, super bad. The octopus just looks, what is this? It's a Superman movie, bruv. It needs a little bit of grit to it, a little bit of edge, like the original movies that everyone loves and everyone knows are the best, but you got this silly octopus and shit. CGI is not good. Superman has been framed. Lois Lane has also been introduced somewhere in this mix. Lois Lane, like typical lefty, kind of liberal woman, just Superman is a boss. He's a fucking pro. He is the strongest guy in the universe. He's gone and stopped a war from Moravia, headed by Putin Yahoo. And Lois Lane, who knows his identity, is supposed to be on this like little home date. She goes over to his house, and her character introduction, she's such a bitch. Superman, after saving the fucking world, getting his head cracked by a big clonking robot, Ultraman, whatever his name is, all this shit, he's cooking his woman dinner. He's cooking her dinner, bro. And he's cooking her, like, he's so beaten about the head by the forces of evil. He's cooking her breakfast. He's doing the best he can. Do you know what instead of going, oh, thank you so much, she knows he's Superman, so she knows what he's up against. Dude, the guy doesn't fucking sleep. He's working this job as a journalist from 9 to 5, and he's saving the world and stopping wars. Then cooking her dinner, and she comes in, she goes, what does she say? Something like, oh, it's breakfast or something, or she just cusses his meal. And like, cuck Superman. Superman's, okay. Superman isn't a total cuck in this, but he's a little bit unsure of himself, and he's typical, like, emasculated modern Hollywood man. Hollywood hates men, especially strong men, because none of them vote for the left, so they want to make them a bit softer and a bit emotional, a bit feelings, get them on some SSRI, so they all vote for the left. That's the image they're kind of projecting for Superman. Okay, Lois, sorry for cooking you food. Then, right, he's making the effort for romance. The bitch brings work into it. So Lois Lane says, can I interview you? Like, you cynical bitch. And Superman says he clearly doesn't want to, because he's a cuck and he's passive. He goes, oh, okay, I don't want to do it, but I'll do it because I'm cucked to Lois. She knows he doesn't want to do it. It's the date night, and she sees cynical gain. She can get a story to advance her own career. The boss woman Lois. So they're doing this interview, and then, like, typical lefty woman, just gonna woman-splain everything. This guy stopped a fucking war, and she even challenged him about it. She goes like, oh, you shouldn't meddle. It's a metaphor for America getting involved with world building and all this shit. Maybe there's like crossover with kind of Syriad and Assad, and like, okay, he's a bit bad, but if you get rid of him, and then you're gonna have a worse dictator or Gaddafi or something. So she's just giving him this woman-splaining when he's fucking stopped a war. And women just sometimes cannot let a man rest. It doesn't matter. With the greatest of respect, ladies, you know it's true, whether it's your wife, your girlfriend, your mom, your sister, or just like an associate. Sometimes they can't let a man rest. Like, Superman needs to rest. He's still cooked her a meal, and she's yakking his blah, blah, blah. You know, on the Supreme Court Justice, you look at how many words they write when they're doing these court cases and stuff. Ketanji Brown and the women have so many words, and the men have so few. It's exactly that. And you know the script writers were kind of a bit DEI. So it's boss wham and Lois cucking Superman. That's her character introduction. So up until this point, we're coming up to like nearly halfway in the movie. No, there is literally no story. Like, what is the story? What is the story? There isn't one. There actually, if you could tell me what it is, I want to know, but there fucking isn't. There isn't a story. Also, there's like no characters at all. Yeah, I know who Superman is because he's famous. I know who Lois Lane is because she's famous as well. But the movie has to be able to stand on its own and not lean on the past. Like, there needs to be something to show you what iteration of Superman this is, so you can relate with him, identify with him, care about him. There is nothing at all. There is literally nothing. The only thing I have is Superman's a bit of a cuck and Lois Lane's a bit of a boss woman. That's all I've got. That's where we are halfway through the movie. All right, let's keep going, bruv. Let's keep going. So they basically nicked Superman's dog. They nicked his dog, right? I don't know if this is a John Wick reference, but they nicked his dog. So Superman's got to go find his dog. So this is where the plot comes. Like, okay, Superman has to rescue his dog. Other great movies, I can tell you the plot in one line. That's how you know it's a good movie. I don't know. Back to the Future. Guy goes back in time and has to get back to the future. Terminator. Robot is sent to kill the future leader, and the future leader's life needs to be saved. Or something like that. This film, okay. An hour in, Superman needs to save his dog. All right, we'll go save that fucking thing. So Superman basically goes off to find his dog, and it's locked in a pocket universe. So at this point, I was thinking, please do not do the multiverse thing. I know you're going to go there. Don't do the multiverse. Don't bring back Christopher Reeve. Luckily, they didn't. But this film has a really kind of weird feel to it. It feels like there was rewrites. Can any nerds in the comments let me know if there's any rewrites with this film? Because some parts feel like it was recorded at a later point, and it almost feels like they put it in and there was going to be some universe building, and then they said nah, because the parallels are insane with other movies, with they do the multiverse and shit like that, but luckily they didn't. So they basically, Superman goes to get his dog, and Lex Luthor, he finds some kryptonite. He finds this dude, and it's just like Groot. They brought back Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy, but now I can't remember what the wanker's name is, but he's just this knobbly, shriveled thing, and he can turn his skin into anything, and he could turn his skin into kryptonite. So they go through this portal which is never fucking explained. I told you Lex Luthor's a god. He's got this circle, stereotypical like science fiction trope, a big circle of energy, and you go through a wormhole. He's got this circle, and you walk through the circle, and you're in this other fucking like, how the fuck has this guy built all this shit? I mean, how has he not taken over the city? He can commit any crime and go chill in there. Why is he even in New York City? Why isn't he just chilling in the portal? No one's ever going to find. And it's not properly guarded. It's on a beach somewhere. And also, I hate this about James Gunn movies. He thinks he's all like Quentin Tarantino. Oh, let's put like a classic song over some action, and he'll just fucking parasite off this amazing song and try to boost the profile of a very average movie. When you go to the portal, they're playing shit in their little barracks or shacks and play some shitty music. It's really annoying. It's not well guarded enough, right? Like, this is, I'd say, of all of Lex Luthor's godlike powers, this is pretty fucking high up there, mate. I mean, he's made a wormhole that can go to other fucking dimensions. He can make like huge, like Holocaust like prisons inside this wormhole. He can hide in there. I don't think there's anything he can't do, like, with this fucking wormhole. That achievement's pretty high, I would say. It's definitely up on par with being able to create clones of Superman and like T-1000s and shit. This motherfucker's so OP. It's not well guarded enough. Anyways, they take Superman in there, and then there's this kind of like mythology, like nod to mythology, where who's that guy who takes you over the river Styx? There's some terrible CGI character with no ray tracing who's going to take you to this jail. They take Superman to jail. The kind of discount Groot can turn into kryptonite, so that's how they get Superman in there. So Superman's in there. So now the story's gone from like, the plot is rescue the dog. Now the plot is rescue Superman, but it's still basically rescue the dog because the dog's in there. Oh God. Yeah, so I'm sitting there at this point and I don't know anything about the characters. I don't really know what the story is. There's a war somewhere, and they used a lot of dialogue explaining that war, but then nothing's happening with the war. It feels like there was a lot of rewrites and reshoots here. So Lois Lane. So then you've got the new team. I can't remember what the fuck it's called. It's got like Hawk Girl in it. It's got this black guy in it who was race swapped in like 1997 from someone else, like Mr. Fantastic or some shit like that. And then there's the main guy, I don't know, like he makes these green hands come out the ground, and some of them have like middle finger, man, like Marvel humor, and he puts oven gloves on the enemy and stuff. But that guy, whoever the leader is of the world building new group, it's like Discount Avengers. So much discount in this film, so much. He's like the best guy in the whole film. Like, they really try. I told you the film's about world building because they put all the energy into like the leader of this group because they want to expand the universe. Anyways, they're all gonna like come to help Superman. So like the black dude, he goes to help Superman with Lois Lane. Lois Lane like goes in his ship over there, and they open up the portal because the black guy's like a wizard, opens it up, and they basically just fucking, Superman breaks out of jail. The Discount Groot who's turned into kryptonite. This is fucking stupid, this film. The Discount Groot who's turned into kryptonite and is keeping Superman in this cell amid all these other translucent cells of all these kind of prisoners. His son, which is this terrible CGI horrible baby, which is in another cell, like, yeah, put it opposite him, just like as close as possible. So to motivate him to break out, which is exactly what he fucking does. Superman eventually says, look, I'll get your son from the other cell and we'll break out. So the guy says, okay, take my son out and then I'll let you out the jail. He makes a son, man. Like, Discount Groot makes a son in the cell. he makes a son, and then Superman gets strung, and then he gets out, he saves Discount Groot's baby. Then you have the James Gunn orgy of madness. Like, this is what James Gunn does. He takes like a typical action movie trope, and then he obviously takes a boatload of hallucinogenics, mushrooms, LSD, all that kind of shit. I reckon he's taken DMT because he puts in, then he'll take this action trope and he'll reskin it with like rainbow stuff and hallucinogenics, and then the average person sitting there, wow, look at all the colors, man. There's actually nothing happening here. So what happens is there's a river, it's like a rainbow river, it's like, I don't know what it is, it's plasma and it's dangerous, and then there's a black hole over there. So all it is like man falls in river and like nearly falls off a waterfall. But in this, it's like, it's not a waterfall, bro, it's a plasma rainbow super river with a black hole. And then Superman goes in the river and nearly gets sucked out, and then they just basically fuck off and they go into the real world. So the dog is saved now, but the movie's still going. So what is the story at this point? It's just get the bad guy. So Superman's out. Superman's pissed. The dog is out. Lois Lane, for some reason, she is now flying the spaceship. She flies the spaceship back. So and then there's silly humor. The dog's in her lap and licking her face and won't get off her lap. Marvel humor. So Lois Lane, right? Because women in STEM, we need that propaganda, right? Flying this fucking cryptic spaceship. This is really happening in the fucking film. Lois Lane has regressed a little bit from boss woman at this bit, a bit more like traditional woman, which is kind of good. But other than the whole flying this esoteric spaceship thing. So it goes towards the end of the movie. Now, this is the only part of the movie that I thought was good. Superman fights a Transformer. Transformer, in a nod to what I think was Superman 3, is it? Where Superman gets taken over by those computer robotics and microchips, and it scarred children in that generation for life. It was this really horrible scene. She puts the T-1000 nano stuff all over him. It goes in his mouth. It's going in his lungs and shit. And I thought, oh man, that's the only time I felt there was any stakes where Superman wasn't invulnerable, where something, even though I know he's going to survive, I felt worried for Superman. The only good bit in the film. So he's getting molested by the Transformer and the big clonking robot, minus the clonking robot armor, Ultraman, whatever his fucking name is. And then Superman flies in the sky and he flies back down again and he clonks into the earth and he gets them both off him. He knocks out the Transformer. Then it's a one-on-one with Ultraman, whatever his name is. So this is basically the end of the movie. And this is how fucking stupid this is. So, as I said before, Superman works out the reason why Ultraman, whatever his name is, can beat him. He's stronger physically, but he's dumb. And Lex Luthor tells Superman, he goes, yeah, he's like really stupid. Tells Superman the weakness of the supervillain when he's about to die. And so Superman takes out all of the drones, and then Lex Luthor can't give verbal instructions of when to punch, when to kick, and where to go in real time. As if that would have fucking helped Ultraman anyways in the first place. Like, firstly, like I said, it's like playing a FromSoft game without pressing the buttons. Secondly, it's like that wanker behind you who's telling you how to play the video game. Like, go up, go down. It's not going to work. That's like, what the fuck? Who wrote that? Who wrote that? Seriously, when you verbalize it, that sounds insane, because it is. So then Superman takes out the drones and he basically kills that guy. I don't even remember what happens to Transformer Woman. And that tells you everything you need to know about her. It's just in there for the sake of DEI, basically, just to make up the numbers, because they said it, not me. Go to the Oscar website. If your film's going to be considered for any form of Oscar, 50% of the main characters have to consist of minorities, women or person of color, whatever. That was the checkbox for that character. I'm sorry, but it just was. So at the same time, they tried to make the movie all dramatic with the kind of subplot. You know how they did this in Avengers movies where the bad guys are fighting, but there's a war going on the side. This whole war against these poor immigrants with Putin Yahoo, I don't know if it's supposed to be Palestine or like Ukraine or what the fuck it's supposed to be. It's really, really confused. I think the makers didn't want to make it overtly obvious and tried to kind of flip some of the roles around. Like, is this guy like a Putin character? Is he like a Netanyahu? Like, is he a what? And like who? But basically, John Parr is like a fucking. It looks like Palestine. And then you've got the imperial kind of people who are going to take it over. You got all the immigrants going, Superman, please save me. And then the new discount Avengers with like Hawk Girl, they basically go and save Palestine. So that happens. I don't give a fuck, because that's the first time I saw Palestine, or whatever you want to call it, John Parr in this movie. I don't know who they are. I don't know what their fucking agenda is. I'm supposed to care about these people? Okay, Superman's an alien, therefore he's like an immigrant, man. Let's put some like immigrant and like colonial and war shit in this movie just because I don't know, it has to have some political spice, doesn't it? No, it doesn't, but you put it in there anyways, didn't you, writers? So that happens. Like, Palestine is freed at the end of the film by the new world building team that is the sole point of this movie, essentially. Superman then finds Lex Luthor in his big evil bad guy skyscraper. Before even a trial has started, Superman starts beating the shit out of him. Then some information is released proving that Lex Luthor's really a bad guy, and then everyone suddenly hates Lex Luthor, and then basically Superman kisses Lois Lane, and that's it. So woke moments in the movie. Okay, so when they're freeing Palestine, Hawk Girl picks up Putin Yahoo, and he basically likens her to Superman, and she goes, "I'm not Superman," and kills Putin Yahoo, the leader of Baravia, who's oppressing like discount Palestine, or it's actually an improvement on Palestine. It looks a bit better than that dump, but yeah, that happens. So she kills the leader of the oppressor. And just like all DEI hires, stealing the productivity and hard work of the risk takers like Superman, she takes all the credit. She's like, "I'm not Superman," and then just like throws him into the ground after Superman has like essentially like prevented this war up until this point and like swung everything in her favor. So that was a woke moment. There's loads of cringy moments about social media. Obviously, the writers wanted to appeal to Gen Z. So one of the characters, who's Lex Luthor's girlfriend, is always taking selfies in front of natural disasters and aliens blowing things up. It's like, fuck, it's so cringe. And they start talking about hashtags in the movie. Superman's talking about hashtags. And he says, "I don't read what anybody says online about me." This is pure projection from the woke Californian Hollywood DEI team who partly obviously wrote this film. It really, really is. So like Superman in the film, he basically tears down the whole fucking city in trying to save it. Like, just seriously, like skyscrapers getting clonked and falling down, people basically dying off camera everywhere. So Superman has like destroyed a whole city without a second thought, and then refuses to even acknowledge the damage he's done. He doesn't even look back at the fucking carnage, like people he's killed. In the same way, these people like make this shitty woke stuff in the story and put these like DEI hires. They won't even look at the hashtags of what people are saying online. So when Superman's talking that, it's really the writers talking about themselves. They're saying like, hashtag, "I don't read what's said online." And there's jokes about super shit. That's actually in this film. It's like appeal to Gen Z, pure projection from, the woke Hollywood writers who, they can't see past their computer screens and chai latte and their Hollywood bubble. It's really, really cringe. It's really, really cringe. So that was bad. That was bad. At the end of the movie, woke moment, Superman is like one of the last things that's said. He goes, "I'm not an alien." He's basically, "I'm not an immigrant." He's like, "I'm not an alien. I'm a human, and I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect, man. Like, I don't always get it right. And, but we kind of want the same things, right?" So I love how there's some moral equivalency behind Superman, who's all he's done is give up his life and sacrifice for everyone else, and like all these people who might come to your country to take benefits, public housing, food stamps, free health insurance, just to stay at home all day and call hardworking, productive people racist, and also make the crime statistics skyrocket. They did it, not me. Go look at it. It's just statistics. I love that moral equivalency. So there's a little bit of that at the end. And at the end, it's funny because the falafel guy, right? He comes along and he's like, "I make the falafel." They put this in. He picks up Superman. That guy gets killed in a game of Russian roulette, and they realize at the end, shit, we fucking killed the falafel guy. So then he's basically become this posthumous hero in the newspapers and shit. But they then neglect to show the millions of homeless, criminal, military-age male refugee junkies slumped on the sidewalk as well that might have been brought in through the similar means. So anyways, there is like a lot of woke immigration stuff in this film, but like I said before, at the end they go, "Something we can all agree on, Republican and conservative." It's so fucking cringe, man. It's so Hollywood. So the film is bad. It's bad. The only good part is when Superman gets molested by the Transformer. Then at the end, when he kisses Lois Lane, I felt something like, okay, it's a resolution. The best characters in it is the leader of the new world building team, who has like the blonde hair, and the two babes in it. So the good thing is there's actually two babes in it. Lex Luthor's girlfriend's a bit kind of a babe, but there's a news reporter babe, literally has fake booba and they're very kind of sexy. Okay, they're putting some sexy women in again, thank God. They were the best characters. They were the kind of feminine ones, but they made those characters so stupid. They made the attractive women stupid. So they're suggesting like if you look good, you're just an idiot. Which is I don't know, some people might find that offensive. And also Clark's parents, Superman's parents, man, liberals hate anyone who's not a big city lifestyle. I've met a lot of Californians recently and a lot from San Francisco, and the hatred these people often have by default for like tens of millions of people is quite something to behold. So I've heard San Franciscans recently say things like, I said I wanted to go to America, and I thought I say California and New York because I think I might trigger them because they're liberal, and I want to like try to align a little bit if they're that sensitive and that ideological. And then third, I say I might want to go to Texas, and they say don't go there. Oh, why not? Oh, because like they voted for Trump disproportionately, and they said the same about San Diego. So yeah, tens of millions of people are all idiots. Don't go. They're all bad people. You really get that impression like from the writers, you know, as well. It's just it's so short-sighted, and how they can't fathom that other people might not think like them. But they think anyone who's not like a liberal is an idiot, and that's proved by the fact that Superman's parents in this are fucking assholes. They're like, when they introduce Superman's parents, they're hicks, and they're talking about the chitlin and da like some kind of redneck. And the mother, Superman's mother, they make kind of like people who live out in the like a countryside, like rural America, out to be like mentally retarded. When they make it out as if like large swaths of Republican voters don't even know how to use smartphones, right? Like Superman's mother talks to Superman with her face on the phone going, Superman, can you hear me? With chitlin, like talking about chitlin and shit. Like, it's outrageous. You know, these people who make films like this and talk about diversity and like inclusion and understanding, they're the most judgmental and racist people. Like, imagine just depicting that and just not thinking anything of it. Like if you're from the South, you're a fucking retard who can't use a phone. Crazy. So you could have stripped all that out, but it could have been worse. I've seen woker films, but there was quite a bit of that in this film. There's just too much CGI. The scene where they go in to save Superman, where the silly music is by the barracks and the portal, and then the guy's like making his drones hit everything. They put some tunes on. I actually refuse to look at the screen. Because it means nothing. Nothing's happening. With the big octopus thing, a James Gunn little cute thing, it gets big. Didn't even really look at the screen because it's actually like insulting my intelligence. You're gonna be like, put some flashing lights on the screen, man, and I'm gonna be happy that I paid. Do you know what as well? I paid double to watch this film because I saw it's coming out. I thought I wanted to give you a review. I paid to watch it. I could only sleep 3 hours. I wanted to watch the early one to get the review in quickly, and then I missed it and I woke up late. I paid double, bruv, to watch this film. Hope you appreciate it. I did it so you didn't have to. So yeah, CGI way too much. There literally is no story. It kind of is John Wick, like save his or like avenge the dog or save the dog after an hour, but that then ends after 40 minutes. So there actually isn't a story. There's no character development at all. Just one scene where Lois cucks Clark, but then she reverts to type a little bit. Two babes, as I said, who are the best thing in the film. Beautiful women are made out to be idiots. Southern people are made out to be idiots in the film. A lot of kind of immigration stuff. Very confused take on kind of war and regime change and things like that. But it's in the film and it's quite pretentious and it's wafer thin. So really, this film should have been what the opening dialogue was. The text on the screen, that should have been the whole film. The film started off, metahumans came to Earth 300 years ago. Should have shown that. 30 years ago, Superman landed before he was Superman. Should have shown that. And then 3 years ago, he became Superman. Should have shown that. And then Superman loses his first battle. That should have been the whole film, which you said in the beginning, but you skipped all of that and then did all this fucking madness. So you should have done that in the beginning. I'm not sure in the film if the robot clonking battle was a flashback or whatever, but like it just shows you well, how am I supposed to know when I don't know what the fucking story is other than rescue his dog after an hour? So there you go. That is Superman 2025 honest review. We've just got $10 donation from Brad W in the comments. If you are just joining us, I'm Johnny Massacre, and this is the Superman 2025 review. But if you have been watching from the beginning, then stop your grinning and drop your linen, donate some cash, and let's keep winning. Streamlabs.com/Johnny Massacre, Patreon.com/Johnny Massacre, and PayPal.me/give me a hell yeah. You can check out the links in the top right to the right of my head. Please donate generously, and I can make more of these reviews. I hope you liked it today. I really, really did. I see you in the comments. And yeah, excellent stuff, everyone. So much love. Take care. Make sure to sub to the channel and spread the word. Love you and good night. Cheers.